All right. So now we're going to move on to the last of the different theories of stages of with last of the stage theories. Erik Erikson and his stages of psychosocial development. Yeah, always good. Somebody's first and last name is basically the same. We know who he is. He is Eric, the son of Eric. So that's good. Unless it's Chris Christie, then it's not. But so the stages of psychosocial development are like this is my favorite part of the unit. I really like the stages of psychosocial development. I think they're pretty spot on with everything. And what they look at, so psychosocial development. What does the word psycho mean? Where did my Nope, does not mean crazy. The mind. Yep, it means the mind. Right? And so this looks at how the mind and our environment interact with each other. Erik Erikson is or was what is called a neo-Freudian. So there's Sigmund Freud, who's kind of the father of modern psychology. And then there are all these psychologists that come after him, that work with him or whatnot. Erikson, Jung, Horney, Adler, all of these different people who fall into what is called the neo-Freudian, the new Freudians. And a lot of what these psychologists did is they took Freud's ideas and they altered them a little bit because most of them disagreed with him on one major point, which was that they all thought that Freud put too much emphasis on sex in terms of personality development. And he did. Okay. Freud is all about sex. And we'll see this later on when we talk about Freud. We'll get to Freud in the personality unit. You all will like Freud a lot. He's weird as shit. And most of his stuff is incorrect, but it's still really interesting. But so, where Freud said that during development, we had all of these different sexual conflicts that we had to overcome, Erikson said that during our development, we have all of these different social conflicts. And at each age, there is a different social conflict that we need to resolve. And if it's resolved, then that it helps us develop into a healthy personality. But if it's not resolved, if that conflict, if we don't get what we want out of the conflict, then that can manifest, meaning stick around as maybe as an aspect of our personality that is not helpful or not good. It can cause us to can get in the way of our full development. At the first couple stages are for children are all about developing their self-concept. And so if they're not successful there, then they may come out of childhood and adolescence not really knowing who they are. The thing that is unique about Erikson stages is this is the only stage theory that covers the entire lifespan. All the other ones kind of stop, Piaget stops at about age 12, Kohlberg stops at about age 18. This one goes all the way up from birth to death. All right. So we're going to do the first stage because it's easy and we can tie it back to something that we already know. So the first stage, which goes from birth to 1 year, is trust versus mistrust. All of these stages tell you what the conflict is in the name. All of them are blank versus blank. And as you can guess, the main conflict in this stage is developing trust. Can the baby trust the world and their parents to fulfill its needs? If they can, then they develop a healthy sense of what is called basic trust, which is just a basic sense of trust in the world. If they can't, though, then they will mistrust others and they will mistrust the world throughout their life. Now, what does this sound like that we talked about last class? Could you? I don't know what that means. Could I say that again? I said, what does the, oh, so they develop a sense of either trust or mistrust, basic trust or mistrust. All right. What does that sound like? Yes, Roger, that's right. What does that sound like that we talked about last class? And if they trust, yep, okay, all right, good, JD. Yeah, comfort, kind of, yeah. Okay, this is essentially secure versus insecure attachment. We develop that sense of attachment, and a lot of it, like we talked about last class with Ainsworth. Okay, secure attachment leads to being a trusting adult, where insecure attachment leads to being jealous, untrusting, and whatnot. So, it's just basically the same thing, but under different names. All right. Does anybody have any questions about that first stage? Okay.